There's no Haaland for captaincy again, so we're left to choose between Son against Everton, Salah against Arsenal, and Watkins against Sheffield United, and all three players on the shortlist have the home advantage. They've all had a similar output of non-penalty return points per 90 minutes this season. There's just a small margin separating them all. We have got to give more credit to Watkins though, because he only gets 4 points for every goal scored, whilst the other two players get 5, and that's factored into the calculations. Plus he has got the highest figure. At the same time, he's overperformed his underlying stats. He's actually got the least promising on the shortlist. Salah's got the most promising, and I get that you can say that Watkins is a good finisher. You can say that about Son as well. You can see that in his numbers, but Salah's got the most sustainable numbers, and to be fair, he's a good finisher as well. So whilst it's impressive what Watkins has provided so far this season, his numbers are probably going to regress. The same can be said about Son, but not quite as much. They're the non-penalty stats, and Watkins isn't on penalty duties for Villa either. Son and Salah are both on penalty duties for their respective clubs. Son takes direct free kicks, Salah takes the occasional one, but he's not quite as high in the pecking order. Neither of them take indirect free kicks or corners, and Watkins doesn't take any free kicks or corners whatsoever. Despite Watkins putting up a bad fight so far, he's got the highest anytime goal scorer odds, joint highest anytime assist odds, which means he's got the highest chance of success and the lowest chance of blanking. Salah's got the worst odds across the board. Son's odds do compete because he gets 5 points for every goal scored, whilst Watkins only gets 4. However, Watkins has got the highest points projection on Fantasy Football Fix by 0.8. He's also got the highest on FPL Review by 0.4. Whilst Salah matches Son on Fix, he's a full point behind on Review. When we compare the opposition's defence, we can see why Watkins is starting to take the spotlight. Sheffield United have by far got the worst defensive numbers in the whole league. Additionally, we can see why Salah's points projections and odds of returning were so low. Arsenal have actually got the best defensive numbers in the whole league. And with Everton, we can visualise that their defensive numbers are much closer to Arsenal's than Sheffield United. The 5th best in the league for expected goals conceded, and the 3rd best for goals conceded. So Son's opponents Everton are more than twice as likely to keep a clean sheet than Watkins' opponent Sheffield United, and Salah's opponents Arsenal are more than 3 times more likely. Before we draw up a conclusion, we're going to carry out a quick risk assessment. Whilst this video is being recorded, both Son and Watkins have had an adequate amount of recovery time. As for Salah, I'm not sure yet. He's not played in the EFL Cup. I'm sure he will do because it's the quarter-final, but you never know, there might be rotation there for fitness. So when you're watching this video, he might have played anywhere near 90 minutes for Liverpool. If he does, that's a bit of a disadvantage. It's Watkins who's got the most promising expected minutes with bang on 90. Salah's are still promising with 87. And to be fair, Son's are still decent with 84. But you can see why they're lower, because he did get subbed off early in the last match. And that could happen in this match, possibly even earlier. As for the decision, as much as Salah is a good player, especially at Anfield, I don't fancy him against that Arsenal defence. So now it's between the other two. As for Son, his opponents aren't the easiest. Everton have kept 4 clean sheets on the bounce recently in the Premier League, and he's not got Maddison behind him creating the chances. As for Watkins, he's not perfect either. He's not on penalty duties, he's not on any direct free kicks, and he's got the least promising underlying numbers, but at least he's got easy opponents, and it's worth noting that Villa have had 15 home wins on the bounce in the Premier League this season. So combine that with the reasons that you're about to see on the screen. Whilst he's not perfect, Watkins is my favourite captain this game week. If you've made it to this point in the video, you might as well subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss any more videos like this, and I've got a team selection video being published shortly.